Wait, was Camron going too far? His decades-long connection with Jim Jones may have been ruined by the released film, and this time it's not just a publicity ploy. According to insiders, Camron is to blame for this. Was it a petty ploy gone wrong, or was it a calculated treachery designed to make Jim look as bad as possible? Jim is no longer silent. Instead, he is erupting on all platforms, letting go of emotions that have been suppressed for decades. We're discussing covert deals, lost chances, and a brotherhood that might have been a lie all along. Two of these, have you ever seen them? It would seem that loyalty dies in silence because what has transpired is not only betrayal, but also the destruction of the entire set. After all these years of sorrow, you would think that there would be an unwritten line between loyalty, street, brotherhood, and the shared descent to hip-hop royalty that Camron wouldn't dare cross. And trust me when I say that what you're going to hear will alter your opinion of Camron for all time because, once you hear it, the truth is not only startling, but also unattractive. Refrain from clicking, scrolling, and blinking. It all began with a leak, but this one was especially graphically offensive and emotionally charged. A suspicious burner Twitter account with no followers, no tags, and no descriptions suddenly posted a private video of Chrissy Ellen, Jim Jones's longtime companion and a well-respected matriarch figure. People initially believed it to be a deep fake, but within a few hours, Chrissy's face became well-known, and the internet did what it does best. Viral TikTok reactions and detective mode modifications began to appear, and before anybody could stop it, Cam was accused of doing it by Twitter. But why would he post such a video? How could he possibly benefit from disclosing something so personal? Was it spite, retaliation, or something else entirely? Since this wasn't the first time that Cam and Jim had a falling out, let's take a moment to discuss history. As their kingdom expanded, more fissures began to appear. In addition to ongoing friction, power struggles, and quiet conflict, there were instances when backdoor business methods and subtle jabs were used in interviews. About who was actually in charge of the team: Camron, the gregarious thinker, Jim Jones, the heart, and the street muscle. And then there were the explosive times, such as the notorious 2017 Hot 97 interview, where Cam disclosed everything from internal rivalries to financial betrayals. Even though Jim was crying, Cam remained calm, and the audience knew that was a permanent hurt. We're experiencing that anguish again in 2025, but this time it's Chrissy rather than music or family. The bond between Chrissy and Camron is even worse. Favored Chrissy because he believed she was dictating Jim's economic choices. Some even asserted that Cam attempted to persuade Jim to leave her in order to concentrate on his musical career. As Jim's partner and as a shrewd businesswoman who, in hindsight, made serious movements less domesticated, Chrissy was a mainstay on the stage, allowing all that old resentment to burst in the most unnerving way conceivable at the moment. It seemed like harmless barbershop banter at the moment. The film was shot over a decade ago, and according to people who came to us anonymously for safety, it was a private moment that was never intended to be viewed, yet it was. One insider says that film that can supposedly recorded after the group disbanded during the 2010 turmoil was discovered on a now-defunct Dipset hard drive that only a select few ever had access to, making the situation even stranger. Was this a random incident or a premeditated act of revenge? Jim didn't remain silent for long, so it was even more breathtaking in the days leading up to the disclosure. Was this leak, if it originated from Cam's camp, prearranged? Did he play as he got ready to drop a bomb? At a Rock Nation brunch, Jim and Cam were seen reunited, posing for photos, joking like old friends, and even hinting at a potential Dipset reunion tour. A dark screen was sent by Jim Jones to, he wrote, "I see you," on his Instagram story. Fans' comments were everywhere less than 24 hours after the video went viral. "I don't care what you think. Man has been envious of me since day one. Don't touch family. Don't play with my girlfriend." That video isn't an accident that attracted over 1 and 2 OK viewers in a matter of minutes. Jim let loose without a script, and a public relations staff was sent with the intention of hurting me. Whether Jim was being sentimental, "This team downed me, and now you want to sling dirt on Chrissy? You're a clown, a full clown." Or whether Cam had really gone too far, and that his silence only made things worse, were the topics of countless think pieces, podcast segments, and Twitter threads that flooded the internet. Even devoted Dipset supporters were picking sides, and viewers were crying, but Jim persisted by bringing up earlier problems. This is the same individual who warned labels I was unreliable and refused to give me tour money in 2011. I held there is nothing more toxic than career sabotage if the purported text exchanges between Cam and an unidentified industry acquaintance about a scheme to leak something spicy to damage Jim's brand before a key business agreement are accurate. She put an enigmatic note on her account and made the uncommon move of unfollowing Cam on all media. Even worse is the fact that Cam hasn't denied them yet, raising the issue of whether he actually did it. Don't you speak up while your reputation is being dragged through digital hell? Why isn't he defending himself? We thought we had reached the height of mayhem, but then something even more unexpected happened, and things took a mad turn just as Jim Jones thought he had exposed every secret. Or perhaps Cam knew that day would come and was prepared to burn everything down. The texts were genuine, and Camron might be concealing other levels of betrayal, but this is when things began to go wrong, become really spicy. People with knowledge of the matter believe that these purportedly private discussions between Cam and an unidentified industry insider paint a far harsher picture. But the leak wasn't just about the video. Cam allegedly stated in one of the messages, "The right amount of dirt can break him down. Let's hit him where it hurts. His woman, his money, and his fans." That's right, his fans, in addition to destroying Jim's industry reputation with a single video leak and initiating an entire smear campaign to harm his reputation. The note also described how Cam was reportedly told to stay by this industry acquaintance. Fans and industry insiders alike began to question whether all those years of devotion were simply a squandered business deal, and the public's opinion of the team was set to suffer a significant knock. Whether Cam truly leaked that footage as part of a wider plot was a topic of intense discussion on the internet. Not only did Jim's Instagram Live alter the game, but it also fundamentally altered the conversation. Cam's cruel game of retribution over the video transformed Jimmy Jones's Lady Money fans and everything else he values into tools. It might have been a planned move to take back control of the organization to try to get Jim to leave Dipset all along. Organizing Jim's destruction would be the most meticulously organized action in hip-hop history. Imagine eliminating a sibling who has committed the greatest personal betrayals, harming both his personal and professional lives in the process. Fans started investigating Cam's past right away, even if he decided to keep quiet about it. Fans found some disturbing patterns. In a Twitter discussion, they found a number of old pictures of Cam with the former pals of other rappers who had been thrown out when they were no longer needed. It became evident that Cam was praised for more than just he was enjoying the show when he used his power move, which was a quiet treatment. He knew Jim would lose. Some reports, however, claim that the leaks continued after Chrissy's video and included financial records, private correspondence, and photos that were provided to blogs and other dubious websites that were only interested in disseminating the information. And you know what? The leaker allegedly got in touch with Jim through an unnamed third party who had previously been linked to both Jim and Cam separately, giving them access to special interviews and even attempting to arrange their alleged reunion. The catch was that they wanted to dominate the narrative, make money out of the dispute, make it public, and make it a spectacle. In order to prevent the two former ROers from ever reaching a consensus, the puppet master's ultimate objective was to intensify the dispute until it reached a breaking point. At its core, this was more than simply commerce. It was the ultimate betrayal. Is there something more nefarious going on, or is Cam Jim the one working behind the scenes? We cannot ignore the repercussions of the truth, whatever it may be. Friendship will leave their legacies, music fans, and lives, and we have only just begun to explore this. This is the last chapter in this incredible drama, where the destruction is both personal and public. By public, we mean explosive. When legends are revealed in the most destructive manner possible, the entire industry shudders. The entire culture of loyalty, betrayal, and ambition that unites the hip-hop community is at stake, and it is breaking down in real time as the world watches this battle intensify and something darker begin to take shape. It is no longer just about Jim and Cam. This betrayal was beginning to have financial repercussions. According to those close to Jim and Cam, who recall their involvement in numerous profitable business endeavors, the story of both guys losing a significant amount of money was more challenging than any song or diss track could be. Publicists, managers, and former label executives are among the people who are heavily active in their circles and have been affected by this terrible industry rivalry, despite your belief that they are merely hearsay. For instance, it has been claimed that Jim Jones's endorsement deals have been placed on indefinite pause, as has his collaboration with a well-known luxury brand. It turns out that Camron's efforts to resurrect his solo career were severely hampered by his business partner's one-by-one desertion. Even worse were claims of unpaid contracts, questionable financial dealings, and even the fact that Cam was being sued by a former label executive for allegedly mismanaging money. It was uncertain if backing a rapper was worth the possible PR catastrophe. The brand couldn't afford the scandal that was damaging its reputation, so Cam and Jim had to make some tough choices fast. The actual business side of the repercussions, the litigation, followed. With a flurry of charges, rebuttals, and settlements, it appeared as though a legal storm had just come. It was Jim Jones's turn first. Sources claim that Jim had already filed a defamation lawsuit against Camron, alleging that he had committed mental anguish, slander, and conspiracy due to Taqwa, the stolen tape, and the subsequent public attacks on his private life. The rumor that Jim was requesting millions of dollars in damages and a public apology from Cam was even more startling. Even the most seasoned legal guard was taken aback by the audacious allegation. Jim's legal team's experts weren't going to back down and were ready to battle it all the way to trial. Camron, on the other hand, wasn't going to take it lying down and countered by saying that Jim had been trying to coerce him for years. He was seeking a large settlement, alleging that Jim had stolen money and influenced business dealings using their connection. Legal experts projected that this litigation would last for years as the public's perception of both men began to decline daily. After years of Jim playing second fiddle, it was hard to overlook the widening gap between the two groups of Dipset devotees. As admirers looked deeper into the story, the bombshells came. The more they discovered, the more their loyalty was broken. Since they are the ones who are most impacted by this issue, which is tearing them apart, the fans were initially hesitant of whom to believe. While some agreed with Jim that Cam had gone too far, others felt that Cam had legitimate grounds to feel deceived. In a particularly disturbing video, he was shown staring at the screen of his phone and asking himself, "Is this how they really feel about me after everything we've been through?" Cam, on the other side, fell silent again, indifferent. His sole public statement was a tweet that said, "The truth hurts sometimes, but it must be said. No explanation, no apology, just a cold, calculated statement that only fueled the flames further." He was aware of the impact, but the longer he remained silent, the more people saw a different side of him. The cunning, self-interested businessman who would stop at nothing to maintain power, while some supporters. Now, let's talk about Jim's longtime partner, Chrissy Lumpin. As the drama unfolded, her name was also dragged through the mud. She had been publicly criticized, and it was obvious that she was caught in the mess. Others used social media to defend their favorite artist, and the industry took notice. The more they argued, the less power they had, and their unity was eroding. Both men were held accountable, but it was unclear if they could ever repair the damage, or if their actions had permanently damaged the legacy they had built together. It's unclear if Chrissy had any personal reasons for remaining silent as everything fell apart, but the worst part is that it wasn't just about the men anymore. It was about their families' reputations and everything they had worked so hard to build over the years. At the time, she was unaware that her involvement in this controversy was real, and there were allegations that she had seen the tape before it was made public and had been pressuring Jim to act against Cam. One thing is certain, despite the fact that the story isn't yet complete and the last chapters haven't been written. After everything that has transpired, the question that remains is whether Jim and Cam will ever be able to reconcile, or if this conflict is really the end of the Dipset era. The legacy they have built over the years is now in danger, and not only their reputations are at risk, but also their place in hip-hop history books. The music industry is waiting for the truth about the Jim Jones and Common feud, the broken bond, and the explosive fallout that is rocking the hip-hop world as the lawsuits pile up and public opinion changes. But now for the real question, And I want to hear your thoughts. Who is at fault here? Was Cam's betrayal the catalyst that started it all? Or was Jim's own ambition and greed the cause? Do you think they can ever work things out? Or do you think this is the end of Dipset's rule? Don't forget to hit the like button and share this video that wraps up today's jaw-dropping story. Before you leave, let me know what you think Jim Jones should do. Watch with your friends, and of course subscribe for more explosive stuff. If you haven't subscribed yet, please share your thoughts in the comments box below. I'm reading every single one of them. So I'd like to know if you're on Camron's side or Jim's, or if you think that this whole situation has been a complete mess from the start. I'll see you in the next one. What are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and enable notifications so you'll be the first to know when we release the next wild story. Share this video to continue the conversation. Until the next time, stay tuned and keep your eyes open because we always have the truth and aren't afraid to reveal it. The subsequent one.